Hi, Honors Algebra 2. It is Monday, May 11th, and we are talking today about matrix multiplication. Hopefully, you've already watched the previous YouTube video on how matrix multiplication works and identity matrices and inverse matrices and the zero matrix. So that was just a good visualization because matrices are kind of hard to do on a board. It was I thought it was nice the way she was able to move everything around. So I do want to clarify a little bit. She kind of rushed through the dot product, so I want to go over that with you and do the exact same matrix she did and then do another one real quickly. Okay, so she did the matrix 1, 2, 3, 4 by 5, 6, 7, 8. And as she discussed, a 2 by 2 and a 2 by 2 matrix are going to work because the columns in the first matrix match up with the number of rows, in the second matrix. And so what we're going to end up with is a 2 by 2 matrix because the rows in the first are 2 and the columns in the second are 2. Okay, so let me just write that. I have a 2 by 2 and a 2 by 2. Remember, these numbers must match, and if they match, your dimensions are going to be a 2 by 2. Okay. Now, when she's talking about a dot product, what she means is we're to find the first row and first column in your product. I'm going to multiply this pair, 1, 2, by this pair, 5, 7. To get row 1, column 1, in my answer, I'm going to multiply row 1 by column 1 in my two matrices here. Well, row 1 is 1, 2. And column one over here is 5, 7. Now a dot product says you're going to multiply the first term here. She called them the x terms. The first terms here, 1 and 5, are going to be multiplied. The second terms, like your y terms, are going to be multiplied, 2 and 7. And you're going to add those products together. So 1 times 5 is 5, 2 times 7 is 14, 5 plus 14 is 19, and there is my first element in the product matrix. Now let's go to this position here. This is row 1, column 2. So I'm going to multiply row 1 elements by column 2 elements to get my row 1, column 2 product in this position. Okay, so I have 1, 2 multiplied by 6, 8. I take 1 times 6 plus 2 times 8, and I get 22. Let's go down to row 2, column 1. Row 2, column 1, I'm going to multiply row 2 from the first matrix by column 1 in the second matrix. So 3, 4 times, the product of 3, 3, 4 is my first pair, 5, 7 is my second pair. And so I'm going to do a dot product here, 3 times 4 plus, 3 times 5 plus 4 times 7. Gives me 15 plus 28, which is 43. And finally, row 2, column 2. I'm going to multiply this. I'm going to use, row 2, 3, 4 pair here, and the 6, 8 pair, and do a dot product. All right. So I've got a 3, 4, and a 6, 8. 3 times 6 plus 4 times 8 gives me 18 plus 32 is 50. All right. And there is my last element in the product matrix. Now, can you do this on your calculator? Yes, you can, but I will tell you, you have to understand the pattern. Sometimes in your college entrance exams, it will use variables, and on your homework, it will use variables instead of numbers. So you need to understand the row by column pattern there for multiplying. Okay, now let's look at one more. I have a 2 by 3. Remember, I put my row by my column for my dimensions, and I'm multiplying that by a 3 row by 1 column matrix. Well, will this work? Absolutely, because the number of columns in the first matrix match up with the number of rows in the second, and the outside numbers tell me the dimensions of the final matrix. It'll be a 2 by 1 matrix, okay? That means it will have 2 rows and 1 column. I went ahead and put it here. Here are my blanks. I'm going to fill in values for my 2 rows, and I have 1 column. So what I've got first to get this number, this is in row 1, column 1, I'm going to multiply this, 1, 2, 3, is going to be multiplied by this right here, this second column, which is 1, 2, 3. So what am I going to do? I'm going to just shorten this a little bit. I'm going to do 1 times 1 is 1, plus 2 times 2 is 4, plus 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, and so what do I get? 5 plus 9, I get 14. So 14 is my first value. Now let's go down and find row 2, column 1. So row 2 has a 5, 6, 7. Is going to be multiplied by my 1, 2, 3. And so let's go ahead and pair those up. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 5 times 2 is 10, plus 6 times 3 is 18, and, excuse me, 18 plus 4 is 22, plus 10, I get a sum of 32. And there is my product matrix. So there is how we do dot products, okay? We just pair up corresponding x's, and in this case y's and z's, and multiply those and then add the products together. Okay, so I hope that helped a little bit. And so go and multiply those matrices, and I will see you again on Tuesday, or at Zoom if you need me today. Bye-bye.